the abhorring lack of awareness on the issues affecting artists with the disabilities. I really we've been unfair. If we were to stand before God in judgment right now, I think we'll be judged very harshly.
Over 20 African countries congregated in Nairobi to celebrate and participate in the Inclusive Africa Conference 2024. The DisDat podcast by Include 360 was live at this year's event. Host Alan Herbert had the pleasure of sitting down with several remarkable participants to DisDat about the conference. Enjoy this episode and do not forget to subscribe. Now, over to Alan Herbert.
Dr. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan.
This tells me the kind of love that you have for the creative industry.
Absolutely.
Because there are many big catchers I've tried to catch.
Yeah.
They've refused.
Wanakata? No. For you anytime, Alan.
Yeah. So, but I think vile umesikia mambo ya creatives, you're like, I have to jump on this one.
Absolutely.
Karibu sana. I
Thank
know
you.
many people know you, but introduce yourself for those who might not know you.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Ezekiel Mutua. I'm the CEO of the Music Corporate Society of Kenya. But a lot of people associate me with my former job as the CEO of Kenya Film Classification Board, where the media nicknamed me the Moral Cop. I was the regulator of films and broadcast content before I joined MCSK, where now we are promoting artists. We collect and distribute royalties for authors, composers, arrangers, and the people within the creative sector of music. So basically, I'm here in that capacity.
You're from a session. What did you pick from it? I know this is not your first conversation about creatives and disability, but what is your general conceptualization of persons with disabilities within the creative sector? The
abhorring lack of awareness on the issues affecting artists with the disabilities. I really we've been unfair. If we were to stand before God in judgment right now, I think we'll be judged very harshly. Because there's nothing really in place. I was just reflecting, even as the session was going on, about even our own policies as government, other than the generalization about youth, people with disabilities and so on. Generally, we have not invested or set aside money specifically to help develop, identify and nurture talent within the creative economy, particularly for people with disabilities. There is no investment in technology. There is no investment in creating conducive environment and atmosphere for creatives with disability. There are no technical support. There is no physical infrastructure. There is no budget. It's really a wake-up call, and I think this conference has come at a very good time as a wake-up call to those of us in policy-making positions to think intentionally about being practical with the people with disabilities, because it's not just a story. It's a real life they are living. And they need to do real jobs and the real business in corporate, in the creative economy to make money. So the entire gamut of technological advancement and how technology can be used as an enabler and an equalizer in this space is something that we can think about. And these are low-hanging fruits. Because actually,
actually, that's where I was going. Because it's a long list that you've spoken about, which are the low-hanging fruits that you would say from the capacity of where you are at currently, and also the raft of networks that you've created that you have within government. Where could you start?
For me, first of all, I think the bill that is in Parliament for people with disabilities should be supported, should move quickly and become law. Number two, we should move quickly to create budgets for the creatives within this space. Because I think these are low-hanging fruit, because if you look at an artist, a musician, for instance, if you are just provided with that safe space and with the technical tools and capabilities within the where you are to be able to showcase your talent, and then you are provided with the technology to market it globally. You don't have to travel, to Cannes Film Festival or to some music festival abroad. You can do it through technology. And the whole process of creation, distribution, exhibition, monetization. All those are things that can be done very quickly with very little money. I was CEO of Kenya Film Classification Board, and I took a deliberate effort to support creatives within this space. And I could see what can be done with very little money, including getting their works entered into major competitions in Zanzibar, in Berlin Film Festival, in Cannes Film Festival, and supporting them. And it doesn't take a lot of money. We didn't have to send the entire cast to ZIF or to Cannes. These are people who are very organized on their own, and they just need little support. So for me, the long-hanging fruit is pass the bill. Pass the bill. That must be a campaign that we must push. Then create the legislative environment, including policies and the legislations that will ensure that there's quick implementation so that we tap on technology to be able to support people with disabilities, particularly the creatives, to make money. Because this is a game changer. Technology is an equalizer. It's an enabler. And I think the things that we could not do by building the physical infrastructure, we can do them by using technology to ensure that we fast track the bridging of the gap for people with disabilities. So for me, the quick wins actually are brought by technology. They are brought by the level of awareness that technology can bring. They are brought by the desire and goodwill that can come out of meetings like this in pushing for policy, formulation and implementation, and also having people of goodwill. I mean, I'm happy that somebody spotted me in the entire big country of Kenya and invited me to be able to follow this conversation.
Absolutely.
More than what I have said myself, I think it's what I've had. It's the information I've received. And it's the nagging of, the jotting of my faculties to think, oh, we have not thought of this one. We have not thought about this way. That's why when you called me, I could not hesitate. We got to be intentional. We got to support. We got to set aside our busyness, being busy through and through, and think about this situation and think about it in a way that we can bring the results. Because if we did so, if we held back, if we just stepped back for a moment and say, we cannot achieve sustainable development as Kenya, as Africa, when we are leaving the people with the disabilities and vulnerable groups behind. And the creatives are the disruptor. They are the ones who can bring the entire awareness and use their talent to push this agenda even further. So I'm so grateful that you have brought your podcast here. See what you're doing. You're not just holding back and looking for sympathy. What you need is not sympathy. What you need is to plunge into the game, get capacity, get support, and once you are given that capacity and little support, see the amazing things that you can do. We are here.
Absolutely.
And you are doing as good as anybody could do it anywhere in the world.
Thank you for that.
So really proud of what you're doing, Alan. And I wish many people can take the cue from you and run with this agenda and say, we are not going to be objects of pity and mercy. We are going to push to have a space at the table.
Probably the last question, because I know you're very busy. You've spoken about passing the bill, but in the disability sector or the disability world, many people will tell you that we haven't seen that political goodwill. As I would compare the political goodwill that will be on the Finance Bill 2024 and now compare it with the Persons with Disabilities Bill. Those will be totally different. How can we mobilize and marshal political goodwill so that we can get, because actually the former president left office as the repeal was happening. When the current government came in, that slowed a little bit down because we understand it was a new government coming in. How do we change that and just have this thing passed once and for all?
The efforts that have already been put in place, it did not just come by chance. We have utilized the people in this space, including people like Senator Isaac Mwaura, who is now the government spokesman, in a very good position now, right now, to rally, to push support, to push. We have Sige, who is one of our members at MCSK, nominated senator again, doing great things in the Senate. We need to identify also our own pillars and where they are, and then the people who support this cause and work together. So it's about uniting and creating an ecosystem that is working, from policymakers to the people in the communities, to the people within the creative economy, to the people in government, and then utilizing our own talents to push for this agenda on social media, having conversations like this and ensuring that we are present where these conversations are taking place. So in my view, we are already doing very well. Whether this translates to more faster action in terms of implementation of these intentions is a different story. But I can tell you, we are not lacking in goodwill. Sometimes it's just people are not as aware until you wear the shoe of disability.
Just like former President Kibaki in 2003.
Exactly. It's actually that bill, some of the policies that are in place today, they were pushed during former President Moi Kibaki's time. I was the Director of Information and Public Communication then. And I'm aware that when he got that accident, and by God's grace still ended up the President of the Republic of Kenya, I am aware that that brought into him the sense of urgency to be able to push for some of these policies to be put in place, because he could feel it. It is the wearer of the shoe who knows where it is pinching. That's why I'm saying, do not underestimate the power that you hold, because in this space you are here for a purpose at a time like this, to ensure that you use your creativity, your professionalism, your networks, and everything. And the best way to do it is to ensure that we rally support. We don't play victim. You don't win by playing victim. You win by ensuring that you know who can push, who can open which door, who can push which opportunity. And therefore, I think we are doing very well already, Alan. We are not we are not doing badly. I think we just need to keep pushing.
The last one. You are the moral police. Is TikTok building or breaking the moral fabrics of our country?
As a technological infrastructure, it is building. We need it. We need TikTok. We need more platforms like TikTok. It's a place to showcase our content. It is how we populate it with the right content to build the right conversations, to make it a tool for blessing, a tool for promoting our culture, our values, and so on, and creating right conversations, not just wasting generations with idle talk and obscenity. And I think to that extent, regulators have their work cut out. They just need to pull their socks. But otherwise, it's a good platform. We need more of that. But they also need to monetize. We also need to ensure that those tech companies are meant to pay. We cannot have platforms like those that are allowed to operate in countries like Kenya, when we are the ones, I give you some lion, then it translates to money. It's my money. So TikTok as a company, it's a huge company, and they need to have a way of ensuring that they compensate the creatives for the content that we upload on their platforms. But it's good enough that they have created that platform, which is very popular, particularly with the youth. And governments need to think about the future of TikTok as a huge threat, because of the way it is appealing to the youth. We need more like that, and we need more competition. We need other TikToks. But the entire, the whole idea, let us put money where our mouth is, and let us ensure that these platforms and these big tech companies who are allowed to operate in our jurisdictions compensate for the content, because they can't run. Content is king. They can't run without content. So much as we are appreciating the platform, and it's a good thing, I think there should be a level playing ground where they also realize that they're also not doing us a favor. They cannot operate without us.
Absolutely. Dr. Ari, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the DisDat podcast by Include 360, recorded live at the Inclusive Africa Conference 2024 in Nairobi. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with one of the remarkable participants. If you found this episode insightful, please share it with your friends and colleagues. And do not forget to subscribe to our podcast for more inspiring stories and interviews from the conference. Until next time, keep celebrating inclusivity and innovation across Africa.